Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to week number 4 now of the Smite Pro League. My name is hi-rez. This is Scott Gandhi. To my left, your right, and we are moments away from starting TSM versus Cloud9. And, well, it's a little bit of a must-win game, it kind of feels like, for TSM.
For TSM, yeah, especially just because, they do have a sub playing in here. Zimstar's going to be filling in, but he's not going to be filling in for Game Hunter.
No.
It's going to be Smek. So how this whole shakeup works, I have no idea.
Well, the guess is that you're going to be seeing, this is my guess, this is not an informed guess necessarily, but that Zimstar's going to be playing in the solo lane, and Game Hunter's going to go back to his old role of Hunter to cover for Smek. He used to play that about 6 months ago. Maybe that's my guess. I don't see
Zimstar getting out of it and going to Hunter, right? He when he goes in for TSM, even at the TSM Invitational, we saw him go solo. The Guan Yu, he always has that up his sleeve. Is it successful? 50-50. But I would expect to see him in the solo lane. But on the other side, Cloud9, they are looking very good.
Well, they didn't play in the regional this last week, not being in the top 4 teams at the time of the invites. But Cloud9, they had a pretty nice start. It was they had that crazy comeback from behind game in the first couple of weeks, and then not much more went on. So they've seemed okay. They haven't seemed like top of the world like maybe they were a couple months ago, though.
Yeah, I think Cloud9 right now is really hitting their stride. I think in European scene, I think we're seeing Mortality has a bunch of chinks in their armor, mainly Sayo. When they lose, he gets blown up, and we said that since I think 3 face-offs ago. It was really all eyes on Sayo, right? So Mortality's showing that they're a little bit more comfortable online than they are on LAN, and then we're seeing TSM. Are they there? I mean, they're on a 4-game win streak here in the SPL, but they took an early exit in their own event.
Well, guys, looks like we are going to be getting into the picking and banning phase here shortly. So we'll go ahead and bring you the early analysis here of these picks. And, well, on the left side of your screen is going to be Cloud9 HyperX. The right side will be Team SoloMid.
Who are you taking at this one, man? I figured I'll ask you right off the rip, just even before everything.
Well, I think that... Well, to me, it kind of depends on where TSM decides to put their players. I think if Game Hunter's in the Hunter role, maybe he's just going to have that kind of I haven't played this in a while, and it's a new car smell, and get all excited about it.
Apollo's fun. I got mesmerized.
Arachne's banned, and as you see, her stats are all null because she has not been picked or banned so far, but banned out here in the Smite Pro League matchup. Odin also available for play this week, important to note. Although there's some discourse going on whether or not they're going to be picked. Whether teams will be picking or banning Odin. Yeah, sentences are hard. Seems like North America valuing Odin a bit more than Europe.
Yeah, I think it's really just the style of play, right? Because, when you take a look at the ban, you see Freya gone, right? And now Zhang Kui. Freya does so much damage, and, EU's all about just, focusing one person down. And Freya, you want to focus her down, but as soon as she goes into Valkyrie's discretion, she's up in the air. There's nothing you can do about it. It's very hard to single her out, so that's kind of why we see her out of there at all times now.
New all going to be the final ban on the side of Team SoloMid. First pick going the way of Cloud9 HyperX. And, well, there's several good picks on the board. Odin, notably, still available. Mercury is here as well. Geb, Rom, all available and not banned out so far here. Giannis also going to be available for Optics in the mid lane if they like to go for it. It's a tough call on what they're actually going to take here. There's just so much.
Yeah, well, they also have to be super careful, too, because TSM, they do have Trix Tank, and he's also 5-0 with Geb currently in the SPL, so they really don't want to let that one slide through. But can you really pass up? Mercury, right? That's going to be a first pick. You got to look at Mercury, and as he's hovering over it, it's going to be an Odin, man.
So first pick Odin coming out. Looks like we're off the mark a little bit there about how much the EU is valuing Odin here. They're not going to ban him. They are going to first pick him. Arachne banned out. Right before we came on air, the pros in-house were kind of talking about they were expecting maybe the inverse of this. Odin to get banned, Arachne first pick perhaps, or Odin not to be picked or banned.
Yep, and, TSM, that's going to give them, they have the Mercury option. They do have the Geb option as well. And looking at it, it wouldn't be a bad idea for them to actually grab Mercury as the ADC, especially with either Game Hunter or Zimstar actually doing that.
That's fairly true, but they're going to take Rom.
Yeah.
So,
Mercury and Rom. Yep, there you go. Take that. Mercury probably going to be in the jungle. I think it's going to be good. I like the team so far.
Mercury could solo as well.
He can do just about anything.
Yeah.
Everyone's just
Mercury
waiting
could mid
for the
probably
patch.
pretty well.
Yeah. He could probably mid if he really wanted to.
I don't think he'd have to really want to. I think he'd just do it.
Oh, yeah. He could just kind of be like, oh, you know what? I'm going to do this anyways.
What are you going to do about this? I'm under my tower.
By the way, everything procs. On her, not a big shocker. How funny is it that Honor gets so much more play in Europe than it does
anywhere
even
way.
Close
That's
in NA?
That's one of those things where you're just like, must be watching Europe. On her's being picked. It's just, they like him. It's really that Youngbay and Smek really like him, and so does Moex.
Yeah.
In North America, like the real like on her lovers, Zatman's kind of there, but it's really like Lassus seems to really like him. But like it's like sometimes it's not the Hunter players that are like go for Honor, but anytime you see pros like warming up, it's always on her versus on her duels.
Oh, God, that's going to be a Giannis, the last pick there, or third pick there, excuse me, for Team SoloMid. They have a lot of damage already looking at their composition.
Gives them a tremendous amount of mobility and the capability to take fights really anywhere on the map. The ROM Ultimate being semi-global, Giannis and Mercury both also in that kind of semi-global category. Giannis maybe good enough to be a full-blown global, but they have that ability to really rotate really quickly, but on the other side, Cloud9 can pile into a fight really fast. Geb blinking or rolling out, Odin bird bombing in. The two of them are really potent gankers as well. It'll be interesting to see where they put the Odin. I would expect the solo lane here, but maybe a jungler. It seems very likely to be solo.
Well, it's going to be funny because this first week we're really going to find out where Odin kind of goes, right? Is he more valuable in the jungle? Is he better in the solo lane? And already we're actually seeing, that Sun Wukong ban, Wukong being more favored, in the support than, let's say, Bacchus or Athena, really, at this point. And Bacchus is actually going to be grabbed, which is actually perfect for going up against Geb.
Yeah, I think
the shield's only going to help so much.
That's right. Yeah, I think Bacchus is a great pick against the Geb. The knockup can only be shielded, but it doesn't stop the CC, right? You're already knocked up, so you'll see Athena not picked or banned in this game, it looked like, on the back of that Bacchus pick. Knockups players, I think, starting to, once again, go back to them being very, very potent. Sobek with the knockback, we've seen him be played a couple times here. Cloud9, however, is looking at their final two picks here, and they're going to lock in Vamana and Vulcan, so if your bingo letter for today was V, you won a lot of money.
Yeah.
As Vamana and Vulcan get locked in here for Cloud9.
Very true. I was really hoping to see Kukulkan. I've been running into so many, and I forgot how miserable the Whirlwind was.
Yeah.
Absolutely just devastating. But, Vulcan, it's going to be interesting. I mean, big eyes on Vamana, right? Like, at the TSM Invitational, everyone was like, oh, my God, Vamana's almost broken with how much, He's
always been this kind of crazy guy.
Insane. I love him. I think he adds anything to any comp, and looks like the last pick they are going to be hovering over Nemesis.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to take her as well. Makes sense going up against the Vamana.
Sure.
And the Odin able to strip those protections away, even the Geb. So a lot of good targets for the Nemesis to beef herself up into fights. But their kill potential on TSM a bit low, unless the Giannis is there. Rom, Mercury, Nemesis all taking, maybe 10 to 12 minutes to really come online as damage dealers.
Yep.
Their early game is going to be a bit weak, I think, unless this Rom gets off to a really good start.
Yeah, it's going to be Rom. A lot of eyes focused on him, mainly just because it is Zimpstar.
Yeah, we'll be Zimp, actually, in that Hunter rule. That's right.
So he's actually rotated over, so this is going to be very, very tough. Rom's definitely one of the better hunters we have here. He's probably the most perfectly balanced hunter we have, I would say.
Rom?
Yeah, I'd say he's like the definition of balance. Like, he's not like too crazy. He goes up in the sky, he sits on a cloud, he snipes 3 people. Online, it's a nightmare. On lane, we saw so many good plays, but someone like Apollo, it's like, okay, you got to mesmerize. That's going to knock me out here for a bit.
Yeah, Rom a little more honest than Apollo. Yeah, not
sure.
Not as much CC, not as much control, but does have tremendous wave clear.
For sure.
And it's really safe. And that's kind of the Rom detractors would probably point at that and say this is where the character is overperforming is his ability to kind of sit back and farm waves so effectively, especially with the blue buff. Even though he is kind of on the surface doesn't seem like it, but is actually very, very mana hungry style of god here. So he'll be going up in the lane against the Honor. Honor has nice kill potential on Rom,
especially early.
Yeah, that's right. In the early stage of the game, the Geb there is going to make it hard for this dual lane to really aggress into Honor. Bacchus belly flop, even if it comes in, it can get shielded away. Or the burp, follow up will get shielded out. Honor can leap away. There's the pillar as well. And as you've seen, the pillar can actually be a really, really important tactical kind of tool. We saw it especially in the finals of the TSM Invitational.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, on her Geb lane is really going to be all about aggressing early and trying to get that first kill as soon as humanly possible. I mean, when you look at it, Bacchus is he's going to jump in, and then he's going to try to burp, and then the burp's going to get shielded, and then they're going to aggress. So they do have to be a little bit careful, but I think we do have player stats here, as we're going to go ahead and bring this up for you, our lovely new graphics.
Look at them folding out.
Oh, yeah. Hi-Rock is actually going to be bringing Odin.
Okay, so we'll be Jungle Odin.
Yeah,
hi-Rock.
Jungle Odin.
Through the last couple weeks, it has been, hi-Rock's been he's been kind of on the forefront of some strange builds here in the jungle.
Yeah, I would say
we'll get into that a little bit later. Looking over at TSM, their captain, of course, is Lobster, and he's done quite well for himself here in the SPL. 40 kills, 80 assists to 34 deaths. That's a damn good KDA, if you ask me.
Yeah, no, Lobster's been crushing. And, I think, when you look at TSM, everyone's kind of always like, okay, TSM, they don't have that, like, one standout player on their team. So if one person starts to, start getting steamrolled in their lane, someone else picks it up, and I think that's really good. But I think slowly in TSM, we're starting to either see Lobster become, like, that star player or potentially Game Hunter. But I'm not sure.
Yeah, and I mean, Young Bay has also done great on the side of Cloud9 here. 35 and 17 kills to deaths there.
Yeah.
Going to be the best ratio amongst the players in the game today. Taking a look at their stats with the gods they're playing today, you've seen a couple of newcomers, Vamana and Odin, not been played by their respective players, and neither has Trixtank played Bacchus yet so far in the SPL. But it looks like Vulcan has been played, just not to great effect, unfortunately, there.
No. not the best. 0-6 is...
Yeah.
He had 7 assists, so he was in 17 fights at least, but his gold per minute, 373, which is kind of unusual because when you think about a Vulcan, you think about someone who he can go ahead and head back to the house, buy some items, and still leave that turret there and still continue to get gold because he's...
Yeah, that's right. And just has so much AoE besides that he's going to be getting credit for a lot of assists on kills,
right, yeah.
on minions, nonetheless, gods as well. So all around, yeah, you would expect Vulcan to be a bit higher up. And, well, we haven't really talked about this too much, but the Geb, Odin, Vulcan ultimate kind of wombo combo combination is pretty gross. We'll see if Cloud9 is going to be able to execute it. In the past, that was kind of like best case scenario, Vulcan inclusive ultimate chains haven't really come to fruition.
Yeah, and it is going to be interesting, right? I want to pay attention to the second half of the game where it's kind of like, or second half of the season where it's like, okay, Chaos side at the beginning was like every 62 win percent, right? And now it's like, okay, going into Worlds, what's going to happen? At the TSM Invitational, we saw Chaos side was way more dominant, but then at the same side, Exposed Secrets just crushed everyone. So that's kind of like the big story here.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to say, right? I mean, is it a map thing? I mean, there's definitely some areas you can point at and say advantage to side. A very notable one being the orange buff versus red buff start, but I think the second pick has a lot to do with it as well. Getting 2 gods
very true.
In exchange for just the one. There doesn't seem to be right now in Smite that standalone #1 overall pick that you always get. So it kind of makes it harder to draft out of that position.
Sure.
I feel like.
Now, look at this here, Mr. Bart. We're actually seeing the guard boots come out of Emilito right off the rip. He bought 1 ward. He went ahead and warded mid Harpies, and then he went back to the house. So he's going to try to get those Midas boots on ASAP.
Yeah, he'll do this. He's a big proponent of skipping Watcher's Gift. You'll see cooldown reduction boots and the rush Midas boots on him quite often.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense to some degree. I mean, if he does get the Midas boots on, if everything goes according to plan, then he's going to be okay in lane, but I mean, he's really relying on getting those kills.
Sure. I mean, the way it basically shakes out is that if you're like perfect with the Watcher's Gift. So the Watcher's Gift gives you when a friendly god kills a lane minion near you, you also gain the last hit bonus.
Yeah.
So that's an additional 50% gold. So if like your lane partner is perfect and you buy Watcher's Gift and don't sell it, you'll get the Midas boots like 30 seconds, I want to say, after the Midas boots rush. But you're not perfect. So it's this Midas Boots rush. It can be good, especially if you're able to zone the enemy team away from their last hits, or able to control the lane enough that the minions get the last hits. It makes that Watcher's Gift less efficient, and then they'll need to sell it to kind of hit the same timing as you on Midas Boots, where you have the extra run speed. So there's a couple different places where it really pans out. If you want to know more about that, guys, you can hit up Kret on Reddit. He actually has a thread active right now about some of the deeper mechanics in Smite, and he'd be happy to address that in its totality for you.
Old Kret,
good old Kret,
helping out with the Chinese meta.
Shout-outs to Kret.
Yeah, and just taking a look already, I mean, we're seeing 2 very, very aggressive wards here from TSM. You have one over by the blue buff, and then you have another one basically cutting off the lane by the speed buff as well. So they're going to have a great field of vision here when the jungler starts to rotate over there around 4 or 5 minutes.
Well, looking here across the lanes, take a look, checking in on the solo lane. We haven't talked about these guys too much yet. Early 1-2 lane advantage here. Well, they're just so tanky on the side of Cloud9. It's hard to not expect them to get the better of this early stage. Cubo Fred and Game Hunter both in the assassin role here. Nemesis kind of bridging the gap between assassin and warrior. Mercury, of course, pure assassin. So they have to be a bit more careful. They're going to need some some minion aggros. You see Fred forced to pot up, as is Game Hunter. Bird bombs continue around the map as well. the dangerous duo of Vamana and Odin continue to show off their jungle speed, as these are some very fast camps and some very fast clear high rock with an early level 3.
Yeah, and the big thing here is normally, we see it goes right Harpies to jungler starting on red, and then, you jump over to the solo lane and you grab your blue buff. But now we're actually starting to see a couple teams actually start to decide to drop that damage buff later on, get into blue, get that early level 3, and then really drop that red buff for their mid lane. And so Optics coming back here for Cloud9 with the red buff is going to be able to do a lot of damage to Lobster.
Tricks tank. Look at this guy. Look at his positioning here. He knows exactly when Hog's going in, and the Hog's already used. Trickstank's going to just waddle in. The Burp's going to be able to get the aggro for him. Hog and stolen just like that. Trickstank makes that look easy. Yeah,
and that's the part of that really deep ward right there that we're seeing, And he's just going to get a little bit of a love tap there from Geb, but he doesn't care at all. He got a perfect steal. That's going to put him a little bit ahead going back into the lane. This is, all things considered, Cloud9, slight advantage.
I mean, the timing is just beautiful there. I mean, look at this ward by Lobster that he put down the little mailbox just off the left side of the mid lane. That's brand new ward. That means that he put it down there, like, right as that timing was coming out. So not only did he win away the lane advantage in mid, allowing him to place that ward there, also does it at the perfect time to spot that out, and they take away the most important buff on the map in the first 10 minutes of the game from, well, what seems to be a pretty potent jungler in Odin.
Yeah, and I think, coming back into it, Game Hunter's got a lot of pressure going on to him in this week. He's kind of been out just a little bit here and there. He hasn't been necessarily consistent in the amount of times that he's able to play in the SPL, at least comparatively speaking to the other players in it. So I think it's going to be really, really important for him to have a good game in here. Now, granted, you have Zimstar coming in as the Hunter, but you're in your respected role. You have to win it.
And it seems to be going A-OK for TSM. Zimstar does have the level advantage in the lane, so Trickstank's rotation also hitting him to level 5 as he rotates towards the mid as the mid camps respawn. And, well, one team has a support that is rotated over at level 5. The other one, well, stuck under tower still at level 4 is Emilito. So both of these camps have a good chance of going the way of TSM. No, Trickstank unable to leap in. And Cloud9 will take the right side camp, drawing parity. No real advantage to the early stages of the game here as the lanes, well, they begin to break for the first time as the Guardians begin to roam. And looking at the kind of mid-game team fight potential here from the teams, again, it's kind of looking like Cloud9's going to have the advantage here. Those bruisers just at Vamana and Odin at the front of the fight.
Well, let's see if Cubo Fred can actually do this. He's going to be behind him there. Emilito is going to have a lot of damage. The snipe through space and time. There's going to be some damage on Youngbei. Youngbei's able to get one on Zimstar. This should be a kill on Youngbei. Very easy. And then will they be able to get the follow-up is the question.
Yeah, Intoxicate's going to come out here as well. They're dashing forward. Emilito, oh, the Vulcan ultimate. He dodges back into it, but not enough. Giannis is there. Unstable Vortex, as well as the portal. And that's a double kill for Cuvo Fred there on the rotation. That'll work out quite nicely for him. That's a great trade for TSM, although they hate to lose Zimstar like that. It's definitely worth it if they get the 2 return kills onto their jungler.
And, I'm not going to be surprised if we see more ganks coming this way, just because they really have to favor Zimstar. They honestly do. I mean, he doesn't have his dev gloves up yet. He's got 2,800 total gold. He's doing okay in his lane, but, this is not his respected role. They have to babysit him, and what better than to shut down Youngbei?
Yeah, also good news for TSM. Their first rotation from the mid laner also successful in securing those 2 kills, getting him a bit of assist gold. So all things told, that early game with those couple of kills, the overextension from Cloud9 getting blown up, it's TSM's early game for now, and the Giannis can comfortably kind of farm up. It looks like he'll get a free wave over the Vulcan. And, well, if Vulcan's not that big of a threat, it seems like, to the Giannis, if he lines himself up well and doesn't get hit by meatballs, he shouldn't be in any trouble for the rest of the laning phase.
Yeah, he should be okay. And then, noticing it, you see NQ actually grab Sprint too. You got improved Sprint, so he's really trying to get the kill lane here going against Game Hunter. And Game Hunter already has the golden bow on lane, so he's going to be doing some serious damage, but he has to be careful just because Colossal Fury, so many people, even at the professional level, get baited by it.
It does so much damage. It grants him so much physical power as well, just from activating it.
And so much health. You get that with a Stone of Gaia, it's like, okay, you're never dying.
5% of your health every 5 seconds is quite a bit on the baby there. But so, yeah, I mean, NQ, he can maybe chase out Game Hunter, put some damage on him. The kill potential's still fairly low. It'll have to be on the back of some misplay from the Game Hunter here. As this Golden Bow's done, and, well, that made you look range and radius is so large, you can kind of just hang out under the tower and farm these waves. So there shouldn't be much killing coming out from NQ. Look for maybe a faulty rotation. Maybe the Nemesis comes over and somehow NQ turns that around with an Odin, but advantage definitely to TSM, as we mentioned during the picking phase. Those semi-globals are really coming out well.
Yep, that just was going to be so. Trickstank trying to get involved here, And, you know, you see Cubo Fred really all the way in here. He's going to be looking to go for the speed buff. There's going to be a grouping all around it here, and hi-rez is going to be waddling directly into the speed camp. He is going to start it, and they're actually going to go on the left side here, and Trickstank in comes Intoxicate Lobster, is able to get one, and Melito is going to rotate back, and now Odin, a.k.a. hi-rez, does have the speed buff down there, but he hasn't been in a team fight.
Yeah, that's always unfortunate when your jungler's, you know, kind of committed to the buff when the fight's breaking out. Dashing through his Fred against the mid camps there, back to safety, and well, Bay jumped in aggressively into that fight. Rama backing off with Zimstar, and the rotations came out from TSM, Giannis, and the Nemesis once again. Nemesis so speedy, and Giannis with the portals. Yeah, they can close distance really well, can this team. Yeah, resetting though as well. The big bad Geb comes rolling through. Nothing going on though as that fight finishes, and well, I mean it's kind of an interesting game plan here for Cloud9, right? Well, let's hold that thought as Emily a bit of trouble here. He's gotten ulted by the Nemesis, the burp, and down he will go, Gandhi. Yembe going to try for a return kill, but Fred just a bit too strong right now. Desert Fury actually being blown there as well. Maybe a little bit of disappointment as hi-rez here. He should be able to pick up Fred. He's going to eat some damage. No, the shot's actually coming out on a Bay here by Zimstar. Not going to actually hit very many of them there, so they're going to be okay. But hi-rez gets that permanent physical damage stack from getting a kill in his ultimate, and will that be enough to get them going?
It wasn't a bad. You know, we're finally starting to see Odin involved a little bit more, but, you know, I think Odin's actually going to benefit a lot more from the Chaos side of things, right? Like, we normally see Nemesis do very well on Chaos side just because, you know, you have the speed buff, you can get involved a lot quicker. And, you know, hi-rez isn't going to be able to take that into consideration here, but they are going to be starting this Gold Fury.
They're going to be finishing this Gold Fury.
Oh, my God. Through space and time, so much damage. Yembe actually able to get out, and
a rolling stone gathers no moss there, as you see, guys. But well, so far through the early game, it's been pretty TSM centric now. The Gold Fury going the way of Cloud9. It's going to give them a gold lead, but it's really purely and only that. So it's okay. It seems like for them, but you know, I want to talk quickly here about the Geb choice here and the Bacchus. So. The Mighty Boost first we kind of already talked about. Let's talk about Bacchus and Trickstank a little bit here. So TSM drafts the Bacchus knowing that the belly flop, right, if it gets shielded, it doesn't actually prevent the CC until they land, right? However, the shield also, if placed prematurely, will prevent the knockup from the belly flop altogether. So they're kind of sacrificing their laning for the mid game.
And you also have to consider the fact that Intoxicate's there as well. And that's like, even though it's such a debilitating ultimate, so many people don't choose to beat it because it's like, oh, I can kind of get out of this one. And so when does he actually use the shield? It really puts him in a dilemma. If any premature shields is going to be a guaranteed forced engagement. So I actually love the Bacchus pick into Gep. Yeah,
it's if you can get through the laning phase, it seems like you got a good shot. And well, Bacchus has seen some success. Trickstank has 4 assists so far, so the roaming has been successful, as has the damage. As you see there on the bottom of the screen, the stat comparison pretty tight between these two Guardians here.
Yeah, for sure. I think Trickstank overall has just been, he's having a very, very good SPL season, but you know, what do you think about the mobility of TSM, right? Like, they are playing, like, granted they are playing with, you know, a fill-in or whatever, but just their semi-global presence, they're able to respond to team fights so much better. I mean, Odin's been slow to almost every single fight.
Yeah, hi-rez been kind of closing the distance at the end there. No blink, no sprint on him as of yet, forcing that hog. Actually, hog 2 for the Odin here. So he likely won't be picking up another active for some time. So, yeah, I mean, the ability to close in kind of across the map is really nice for TSM. Cloud9, however, you know, they have that more kind of bruiserish presence. If the fight extends too long and Giannis gets shut down early, they have a good shot at winning some of them.
Let's see if Lobster's able to get it. He barely misses Young Bay. Oh, that would have been awesome. But here comes a little bit of a dive. Zimstar able to get his hands on Emilito, and that's going to be yet another kill. TSM controlling the game here.
And Toxic doing so much damage still.
Oh, dude, it's insane. But, like, this is when TSM does well, is when you start seeing them get these really deep wards, and that's when you know they're feeling the rhythm. I mean, look at this. There's 3 wards right around the speed to blue buff.
They really don't. They are not interested in letting that Nemesis, letting the Odin really get his farm going here. And, well, so far it seemed pretty effective for TSM. Although they do, they don't hold the gold lead or the experience lead right now. Actually, no, I'm sorry, hold that. They do hold the experience lead at 2,000. The gold lead has dipped down from about 1,200 to about 600 now on the back of that last fight. Well, Cloud9 is, even though they show signs of strength, it looks like TSM is just having continued dominance of this early game. It kind of comes down to the mid game here. Can Cloud9 make it happen?
Yeah. So, you know, looking at it, hi-rez decided to go with the Bumbas match just because camp splitting so
check this right side orange camp. Cuba Fred not going to get picked up, but NQ's here now a bit deep. Game Hunter will have a special delivery fairly soon. Made you look going to miss. There's the ultimate coming up from the Nemesis Slice and Dice as well. Clear the path coming up from NQ, but Lobster's here. There's the Unstable Vortex.
He's going to live.
Support from hi-rez is available now. There is no ultimate. Zimstar coming in over the top. But yeah, that Vulcan ultimate now coming out. That's going to be enough to pick up the kill onto Fred, and hi-rez getting himself another stack of power. And, well, maybe 3 or 4 more of those.
Vulcan's actually going to be mildly useful here with Odin Ultimate, right? Like, it's a guaranteed hit. It's a guaranteed.
In theory, yes. Against the Nemesis as well, who doesn't have a leap, they should be able to pick her up pretty easily.
Oh, wow. Emilito actually getting the left Harpies all by himself. That's going to be big. Right Harpies are on the line. That's going to be Lobster. Vulcan's going to be able to make a play for it, but not in time. But so looking at it, Bumba's Mass here for hi-rez off the rip, and then he builds into the Heavy Hammer. I wonder if we're going to see Odin kind of almost start with the Heavy Hammer.
Yeah, that's pretty late. I mean, I think that he's pretty mana hungry as well, with the Bird Bomb being his primary clear. So Bumba's Mass is a necessity, unless you're going for that more lean style of jungle. But that is a late, really, really late. I mean, I'd like to see this turned all the way into the Frostbound Hammer. If you're going to get it this late, just get that extra HP together. It's going to be probably the most important part of it. The slow, not necessarily there. I mean, if he's looking for cost-efficient HP, I mean, there's other options.
I'm not sure what he's really going with here, right? Because now, obviously, this is going to go into Jotuns.
You would expect, yeah. And I mean, the Jotuns coming out instead of that heavy hammer. He would have had it done here. 1,100 for the heavy hammer plus 750 for the mace. He would have been about 400 or 500 gold away from just completing that Jotuns. And I don't know. I don't know about the start. I mean, he could have gone for like a rank 2 Pestilence or something like that to get the HP and a little more tankiness, or even like build to an on-keel here for if he wants more resiliency. And then also get the CDR, not go Jotuns, and start building on a Chins. But the Frostbound Hammer is going to delay him. But hi-rez is kind of the king of this tier 2 item pickup.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it's going to work out for him. I think the main thing for him is really just getting into team fights. That seems to be like where he's lacking, but he does have to be careful here. Cuba Fred's going to be behind him. He does have his jump, so he's going to be able to get out of there. A little bit of damage taken, nothing crazy. And then, meanwhile, in the solo lane, Zimstar, all things considered, hanging out, doing well, battling versus Youngbei very, very well, who is a very, very good hunter himself.
Yeah, it seems like every time we check in with this left side lane, it's just
boring.
Full-on retreat from Cloud9.
Yeah, always.
Like, they're just like, completely running.
I don't want this!
hi-rez kind of forced out of this fight as he takes a bit of burst damage. Optics continues to try to poke away at Lobster, but Lobster's positioning has been pretty on point, in this mid lane so far. hi-rez here, yeah, I mean, it's a massive slow with that, what the hell is the name of that ability? Oh, man, my senses are failing me. His spin on the number 3, his slow is quite strong. And it's pretty low mana cost, pretty short cooldown as well. And then when you stack it with the heavy hammer, I can see how you can stick to someone. And yeah, Gungnir's Might is the name of that ability. Jeez Louise.
Here comes a little bit of a push here. hi-rez is going to do some damage to Lobster. He's going to disengage completely from it. And now they're going to sit here. Optics doing some damage, but not a whole lot at all, as hi-rez is going to completely disengage from that team fight. He had him caught off guard, but I guess he was scared of the rotation here out of Trick's tank. They do have the wards there to kind of paint the way. I guess they didn't want any piece of the Bacchus. Fat man brings the noise.
Yeah, he sure does. In the solo lane here, where NQ and Game Hunter continue to farm away, you'll see that NQ is going to be building into what appears to be a Witchblade as his third item. It could be a Fatalis still, but likely to be the Witchblade. On the side of Game Hunter, has his pen boots done, but maybe more interestingly has picked up the Sprint 2 as well to deal with that Vamana. So he felt the pressure from NQ, goes ahead and picks up the Sprint 2. Still leaves his option open for potentially going into a Heavenly Ability if need be. Mid lane here, Optics is going to take some harass from Cuba Fred, and actually the beads are going to be forced out onto Optics as well by Fred. So his job is done there as he goes to pick up the right side mid camps.
Yeah, and you're definitely 100% right with the Witchblade. He just built into the Curse Blade, which makes the most sense, right? Like, when you're looking at a solo lane, there's no set build. It's all about just countering who you're going against, and that's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah,
you're going against a Mercury, you build a Witchblade.
That's right, yeah. I mean, and a lot of times it's you're building whatever item that can get you through the kind of this stage of the game, this 10 to 15 minute mark.
Yeah.
And you're really looking for an item that's going to be powerful in the mid game, and you're looking to counter build the enemy team more or less. It seems like so. The Witchblade just a good aura item for that. Left side lane, yeah. Bird Bombs will be coming through, not finding a lot of damage, and well, Youngbei will happily continually farm the wave and build his stacks, get his rice on. Sitting at 6,300 net worth. On the other side, Zimstar sitting at 5,900. So even though the lane has seemed in TSM's favor, Youngbei still coming out on top here.
He's baiting.
A lot of that having to do with Gold Fury, though.
And Melita through space and time is going to be there as well. It's going to get reset, and they're just going to completely back off. Zimstar's going to be able to get this. This is going to be another blue buff here for TSM as Trixtank's just going to zone. Youngbay trying to get up in the action. There's going to be some damage, but no, in comes hi-rez, and he blows his ultimate. Yeah,
Ultimate's actually going to miss there, and he's now chilling in the Ring of Spears as Youngbay walks right through.
Why, hello.
Yeah, he's happy. He's happy to be here. Hey, you come here often? Yeah, a little bit late on that application, but, well, important pickups around the map. Optics does have the Cronus Pendant plus Pen Boots online now, so it's cooldown reduction plus Pen. It's going to start being pretty annoying for really anybody to deal with, and then in extended fights, if he's throwing out multiple meatballs, it just starts to really hurt. Lobster, on the other hand, has gone for the Bancroft's Talon over that Chronos Pendant, which has been the favored build on the Giannis's. Lobster going to be going for even more burst damage than you may be used to seeing out of this god.
Now let me ask you this, right? We've basically watched 15 minutes of professional play running around with Odin. Do you think he's going to stick around, or is he just going to be like, oh, let's see if he pulls it out this week?
Well, here's a pretty good telltale sign here as Hugh of Fred is just going to run him down pretty easily there. No, going to let him go into tower. Optics with a follow-up. Trixtank not going to be able to get it, but Odin pretty outclassed there by the Nemesis, at least to date. Their builds coming through nicely by Cloud9, and actually that ultimate from Optics has to be fired really before the ultimate comes out from the Geb to secure him in place. Lobster gets cleaned up as well.
This NQ's going in on Zimstar in the mid lane. He will be able to get this. And NQ, you know, that's the scary thing. You forget about Vamana sitting all alone in solo alley, and then he comes in and Colossal Fury just decapitates you.
Well, this is kind of how we talked about they might find some momentum in this mid game.
Which is good. Bless you, buddy.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Yeah, with the mid-game, with these frontliners, with the Geb, his ability to kind of close distance, not necessarily as in global presence, but able to get into fights fairly well and pick his positioning. Same thing with Vamana there, as well as the Odin with his leap and subsequent follow-up damage. And, yeah, I mean, you see those dragged out exchanges as Nemesis dives a little too deep. The rotations come out from Cloud9, and they're able to clean it up.
Yeah, and you know, Lobsters actually should be doing a decent amount of damage here. He does have the Bancrofts online, and he does have his level 3 Aegis. He's got the Greater Aegis in his pocket, so that's going to be useful, especially going up against this team comp. He can at least buy himself a little bit of time. And we're actually going to be seeing a second Witchblade coming out of...
Youngbay?
Youngbay?
Interesting stuff.
Okay, yeah, that's awkward face.
Bay showing his new build here.
His versatility.
Yeah, I mean, this may be a Witchblade into Odysseus bow kind of deal.
Could be.
This could be the famed, I'm not going to actually build crit build, in which case it would be a Witchblade, maybe a Titan's Bane and an Odysseus bow, something like that. Perhaps a Chin size on top of the Witchblade and then an O-bow for the additional speed as well. Just going for those on-hit procs and kind of reducing the enemy's power. It's another kind of mid-game timing style of play. It synergizes well, I think, with hi-rez and with NQ. When they're going to be really coming online and when this team's going to be looking to fight as 5.
Yeah, I think that'll work out okay. I would have liked to see him go straight into Executioner. You know, I just feel like on her...
After the Witchblade here?
Yeah.
Or instead of the Witchblade?
No, instead. Sorry.
Right, yeah. Oh, I mean...
I just feel like...
It gives him more damage, and the Executioner, if he's able to hit the same target multiple times, makes his ultimate and all the rest of his abilities do more damage as it adds the Pen debuff to the target. However, that being said, on her's passive is Pen. So... he can get away. If any hunter can, he can get away with this kind of Witchblade start. It's also going to reduce Zimstar's damage. And, well, Zimstar relies a lot on his base damage values to kind of clear the wave with those piercing shots. So 25 less of it isn't going to be bad necessarily on Youngbay. And it also helps on her continue to be this really effective 1v1 dueler through the first maybe 25-30 minutes of the game before his late game kind of falls off.
Here comes on the left side. I don't know. hi-rez's actually going to just not even bother with it. They're just going to let Youngbay push out the wave. And, you know, the one thing that's interesting, so many times, you know, we see after really like the 10-minute mark, you know, we start to see our Guardians rotate around and really start controlling the camps. We actually haven't been seeing that. Both Guardians in Trixtank and Emilito have been staying in lane the entire time almost.
Yeah, there's been definitely a more of a focus here. I think it's a little bit of TSM babysitting Zimstar and then Cloud9 in some ways forced to follow suit. To at least keep equilibrium in the lane.
Yeah, that makes sense. They do have to baby it, so that works. And, you know, Mercury has yet to really get into anything, right? Game Hunter is 0-0-0.
He found his tower on the rotation from Vamana, but there hasn't really been that rotation from the Game Hunter yet. And
not at all.
He has a Witchblade of his own now. So it's
Wait, what is this, Witchblade City?
Witchblade Central. Witchblade Junction.
I like that. Junction, I can get down with that.
You can get down with the Junction?
I can definitely
Junction.
Oh, yeah. You get me. A little bit of a grouping here. The left Harpies are going to be coming up, and they're actually going to be up way quicker than the right Harpies. So someone missing that rotation. The fight over here, it looks like they should be able to get it almost uncontested. Cubo Fred going to try something. Nothing there. Trix Tank, however, is going to take some damage from Young Bay. Complete disengagement, and that's going to be basically the story of this game.
Yeah, they're
very passive.
Yeah, neither of these teams is really looking to take 5v5 fights right now over mid camps. Left side lane, Bay putting some damage out on the Zimstar.
Oh,
there's the blink, and there's
great.
the ultimate as well. Zimstar takes to the sky. hi-rez going to miss the bird bomb, but we'll have a ring available if he wants to use it. Now that's a full-on retreat as Lobster comes through. They're not going to get the knockup onto hi-rez. hi-rez actually going to use his ultimate here and be the sacrificial lamb. You can see just how fast he melts. Those base protections no longer really there.
This should actually lead to a mid tower as well. NQ and Optics do have to be very, very careful, though. You can kind of see the rotation coming out.
Trade,
TSM.
but they're not going to get it.
Oh, I mean, they did a good chunk of damage to it. They were able to get out of there. They had good ward coverage throughout all of that, so it wasn't necessarily bad. If NQ can end up getting this right Harpies as well, this is almost going to be a win for them.
Yeah, they'll recoup definitely a lot of the damage that the Odin death dealt to them.
Oh my God, Lobster! He missed. Oh no! He got through. Oh, Giannis, how dare you with these plays?
The ultimate with Optics coming out a bit late there. Not really on target. Going to miss that kill to Lobsters. He skirts through yet another portal to save his life. Left side here, Zimstar. Well, he's taking some damage from the tower, and Emilito knows he's going to dodge right through it there, and Zimstar kind of turns his nose up at Emilito's rollout.
Yeah, he missed that by a little bit. It's okay. That happens. You know, it's funny when you play Gab, you're like, oh yeah, this roll's so easy to hit, and then it's like, oh wait, I feel drunk with this mouse.
Well, here the Gold Fury going to be coming back up shortly, and as you see, Young Bay's rotating over, and well, it's going to come down to really his clear time here with the team. Young Bay's done quite well for himself so far in the SPL, but let's hold the thought as Lobster's here. There's the portal. There's the unstable vortex. Cloud9 is still able to secure, but you can see just how pesky that Giannis is. Rom, on the other hand, nowhere to be seen, but he's done quite well also as a god. But on her, with an 82% win-loss rate and 3 KDAs, edging out Rom basically across the board here in the European SPL.
Yeah, and the big thing here is every single hunter in the SPL has a winning record with on her. Every single one. I think probably besides Team Coast, because they don't have a winning record.
They don't have many wins to speak of whatsoever.
Yeah,
you can see there, though, that Rom, even with those one less kill to his name and less of a win rate, sits only a little bit behind in GPM.
Yeah.
And that's just a testament to how good this god is at farming minions, basically.
And we actually are seeing a Deathbringer come out of NQ, so he is going to be going crit central here with the big baby.
Yeah, the Witchblade and a Deathbringer, and then it looks going to be probably a Magi's Blessing here. It's just kind of like, I'm going to sprint and hit you a bunch, and it's going to suck. And, I'm going to crit probably twice, and it's going to be enough. It's not this kind of Rage Blade, crit every time. It's less of a... The Rage Blade build seems to be a little bit more of an extended fight. The Deathbringer build is like they're looking to win some fights on squishy targets right away. And look at Emilito's build here as well. That's a Soul Reliquary third item.
Yeah, well, what is he?
He's going to build... I mean, it's probably going to be a Soul Reaver.
You think?
I mean, that's the traditional pickup in this slot.
I guess.
Not in this slot, but on this god, on these types of characters. The percent damage is really nice. It kind of just synergizes well with the Guardian roll. You jump in, you try to kill one target generally, or it's turn a fight, and you're going to do a lot of bursts. Young Bay getting caught out a bit here. Cuban Fred actually going to use the ultimate. Bay has the sprint available, and there's the ring from hi-rez as well to keep everything together. He's going to go ahead and leap out of there, keeping Fred locked in. Emilito going to try to make his way back to his tower, getting knocked up now, and body blocked by Trix Tank. Ultimate forced out through space and time is there, but just a bit off the mark. To secure the kill. Coming through now is hi-rez with a bird bomb, but you can see it only does about 50% damage to the targets. Down goes Emilito to the ultimate from Zimstar. There's a, the poor Vulcan ultimate just never seems to find the target.
Yeah.
And Hughes clearing the path forward. Not going to find the damage that he wants on the Game Hunter. Going to turn around on a Fred, but Fred dashing away. Sprint activated now by NQ, as well as the ultimate. They're committing to this fight.
Holy hell.
He's going to go deep. It's going to hurt if the crits come out. Fred, though, is looking A-okay with the beads. The slow not going to apply, and he's going to run away. NQ ultimate wasted. Cloud9 still going to try to convert something out of this with a Tier 1 tower push on the left side. And it looks like they're going to be able to bully TSM off the mark here.
Oh, they're going to completely bully him. They know the beads are down as well, so there's going to be a little bit of damage down to NQ. Young Bay doing it. Cuba Fred. He wants to get up in the mix. This may switch here. They might actually go on this. I don't know if they will. In comes hi-rez. He's going to ultimate, bring his spears there. He's just going to lock up Cubo Fred, and he's going to say, okay, I'm out of here. Optic's taking a lot of damage, though. Oh, my God. Zimstar really hitting every auto. Oh, Fred, there's one. In comes another one here. That's going to be NQ. The spin's going to be there from Game Hunter, doing so much damage to the baby. Really just trying to find an NQ, managing to stay alive still.
Yeah, dashing through there. The Odin to fall as well. Youngbae's going to take some damage through space and time enough. The Kamehameha cleans him up. Lobster still in the back line here. He kind of got forgotten about there, and, well, Youngbae paid for it dearly with his life. It looks like it will be the chin size coming out for him on the back of that Witchblade. There's a Soul Reaver up and running on Emilito as well. We also missed an Adventurer's Blade. Now the Winged Blade, of course, coming out for hi-rez there. Immune to slows, no longer a valid target for Nemesis, and as we saw, he used the ring twice in that engagement. It wasn't quite a long engagement to block the Nemesis out of finding kills. So the cooldown reduction coming into play.
Yeah, and, you know, Optic's actually building this rod, right? So in theory, he should be doing a lot of damage, but Vulcan's abilities are so hard, especially his ultimate, which is obviously the most damage.
He's got to actually do it.
He actually needs to hit it. And I think that has to be a decent amount of synergy there between hi-rez, but I think we actually do have a replay of that team fight.
And here you see our fancy new feature, guys. Team fight recap there. In that last team fight, as you saw, Team SoloMid actually picks up 4 kills. They only net they don't net a lot of gold off of that, but they find the kills, and well, the gold going the way of Cloud9 HyperX is quite nice. Youngbae putting on 960 damage, Lobster 1433 in that last fight through space and time, just doing a big chunk of that.
Through space and time, as well as the fact that, you know, he has the Chronos pendant up, so he can just do so much damage with everything. So not really shocking there that Lobster's just completely outclassed. And even when you look at it, Giannis compared to Vulcan, you're going to take Giannis in that every single time.
Yeah, he's, even though his damage is not the easiest in the world to secure, it's a little bit more reliable than Vulcan.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, Trickstank, I think Emilito kind of messed up. I don't know how the Soul Reaver is going to play out for them at all.
Well, it gives them a lot more damage to a single target. The Soul Reaver, if the ability that in question hits multiple targets, it will do its proc to the one with the most HP.
Yep.
I believe is exactly how the item works. Let me go ahead and verify that. In multiple gods, damage is applied to the one with the greatest maximum health. Yes. So highest max HP will get hit. So a lot of the time, Emilito's going to be looking not to initiate onto the Bacchus and another target. He needs to find just Cubo Fred here if he was going to go in. It just synergizes well with that kind of jump in and blow him up style. The Anhur and the Odin perfectly happy to help with their burst damage to do that. And they're going to be looking for probably Lobster or Cubo Fred in these fights to try to get him out, as Mercury seems pretty committed to the split push.
Yeah, and he's doing an excellent job at it, too. But, you know, we can kind of see Cloud9, Sentry down. They are able to clean it out. They know Mercury's going to be down here in Solo Island, and so they're like, okay, guys, we can possibly start this, but they do have to be worried, and as Anhur actually is going to be rotating back to there, and this might go in favor of TSM.
Not the chin size, in fact. It is the Executioner, so stacking that pen is Anhur here. Interesting to see what he goes for to finish his build out. He still has room for the Rage Blade into Deathbringer, which may still be the case. We'll certainly see as the Gold Fury gets started now by Cloud9. Left side of the map, Mercury does have the split push onto the tier 2 on the right. Damage starting to come out, but they're not clearing this really that fast. Trickstank's here now, and well, a reset may be in order. hi-rez taking a lot of his HP, still taking the Gold Fury. Ultimate coming out from Vulcan, doing no damage to anybody but the Bird Lady. NQ's in the backline though, and he's a lot of trouble. Trickstank and Lobster Force out of the fight. Zimstar rolling away as well. But a lot of ultimates are going to be used here by Cloud9 actually. The big baby as well as that Vulcan ultimate used. Rom taking to the sky for some additional damage. hi-rez going to leap in, put the Bird Bound on Fred. Fred stuck in there, but can they follow it up? No Vulcan ultimate. hi-rez may have spelled his own doom now as he is in an awkward position. Here's Fred rotating back in, but he's forced back out. And well, TSM just doing a nice job of stalling this. Youngbae continues forward. This is pretty aggressive for him. Desert Fury coming out. Emilito now low. Now burping away as Trickstank. There's the knockup. hi-rez wants to find another Bird Bomb. Still not there, and this fight looks like it may end soon. Game Hunter finally is like, you know what?
Hey, what's up?
Okay, I'll rotate over. Optics looking like he's going to be falling down. The Majula comes out. Special delivery. Jukes from Optics. Not enough. Fred finding that kill. And after all of that, TSM gets 1 kill.
Yeah, what an awkward fight. So much awkward. Youngbae got super aggressive. He was able to get out of there thanks to the shield of Emilito. But, you know, Game Hunter just casually walked into like a 1-on-3 scenario.
He took a Phoenix before he did it.
Yeah. Like, he was just like, oh, yeah, by the way, I took your Phoenix. Now I'm going to rotate all the way back over.
I mean, you saw in that fight, like, hi-rez start backing in the middle of the fight. Right, like in the middle of everybody as well. And that's when TSM re-engaged for the 4th time, not the 7th time. But They stopped him from backing there, and it was a free Phoenix. I mean, by the time Cloud9 realized what was going down, it had already been done.
And Magi's Blessing coming out of Tricks Tank, that's going to be huge for him. And that's actually going to be a Soul Reaver for Lobster. So, not bad. I was expecting a Thoth when I saw his first item get picked up, but...
Yeah, you would think. I mean, Thoth, as we kind of say, it takes a while to stack up, but it does convert your mana right away when you finish the item. And, well, at this stage in the game, he's got quite a bit. But the Soul Reaver, giving him even more 100-0 burst potential. The crit also coming out. Look at those items for Zimstar, Game Hunter, Trix Tank. Trix Tank's going to get a Witchblade. It's going to be crit for Zimp, crit for Game Hunter, and a Light Blade, some more attack speed, maybe a Chin's coming out for Cuvo Fred. It'll be interesting to see what Young Bay goes off to finish off this build. Kind of hoping this game goes a little bit later so we can see what his 6 slot would be with this opening.
Yeah, me too. I actually love the fact that Lobster went with the Shell, too. I think Shell is the most important thing. And just, looking on the flip side, right, we have a teleport coming out of NQ, which is precarious, but, it's solo. It happens every once in a while, but there's no Shell. So as the later this game goes, the more in favor it goes to TSM.
Yeah, I think that... Oh, wait, hold on, left side here. A little bit of poke back and forth. I don't think they're going to be able to clean up Fred. Yeah, they won't be able to get much going off of that, but... the Hidey Urchin coming out on the late side for NQ, so not a Magi's Blessing for him. Also an Urchin coming out for Cuvo Fred a bit earlier. And as you mentioned, the Magi's for Trix Tank going to let him be even more of a threat in the front line. Optics building into that Obsidian Shard, going to try to make his burst a little bit more potent in these fights, but we haven't seen that much really out of the Vulcan in the team fights. There hasn't really been that synergy there between the Odin and the Vulcan that seems like it should be free, especially against the Nemesis or even Zimstar, both of which on the ROM, of course, neither of them having leaps. Game Hunter as well could die to this, so they just aren't really making that happen for themselves. And, well, the unpick is, it feels a little bit wasted, honestly.
Yeah, and Young Bay actually buying a mace, right? He bought a mace, so that's what? Gotta be definitely not Jotun's.
Yeah, it'll be a Titan.
It's got to be a Titan's Bane. But oh god, Zipstar's actually able to find one here on Young Bay. Trix Tank wielding around. He is going to be able to stumble into High Rock. Meanwhile, over here, Emilito's pulling Lobster all by himself. He actually should be able to get taken down here as all 4 of them group. Down goes another one. Meanwhile, NQ all by himself. He should be rewarded with the tower. And they're actually not going for the Gold Fury because they're going to go for the FG. This is going to be really, really big here for TSM.
Yeah, it should be free for them.
Could get a free baby kill as well.
No, it looks like they're going to call off of that. NQ realizes what's going down. He does get the tower. Of course, there's Fire Minions streaming on that wave, so it's nice for him to push that up. But and luckily enough for Cloud9, they have lost the Gold Fury on the side.
Oh, man.
Here he goes. He's coming through. He's not going to be able to get a lot of damage. He's actually taking quite a bit with that larger health pool from the Fire Minions, believe it or not. I'm sorry, from the Fire pool. Damage from the ultimate coming through. Rom Snipes hitting all 3. Q of Fred needs to find a slow. Once clear the path ends, can he get into range? He can. This should be dead right for NQ. The shield coming out, and that's going to be enough. The return damage is there to secure it as well. High Rock now in no man's land as he's moving forward. Wanting to farm, but it's a bizarre choice there. High Rock is, well, you're going to pay for it dearly with your life.
Yeah, he's dead.
Proc.
Rest in peace,
auto attack. Leaping over. Bird bomb's there.
The leap is at least going to buy him some time.
Oh my goodness, please.
What is this chase?
There it is. There's the auto attack through the wall by Zipstar. The chin size actually that he picked up, procking there once again. And helping kill, well, it did a lot of damage to NQ and to High Rock in that last engagement.
So here's my thing so far about watching Odin. One, his leap, which basically initiates everything, it's telegraphed so easily. You see the shield light up. You know he's going to jump at you.
It's not a fast jump.
And yeah, it's not fast at all. Any professional player should be able to say, okay, he wants to initiate guys back up. He's going to waste his jump. That's going to be on cooldown. We can go. And then you just have to worry about the Ring of Spears. But, I mean, as a whole, it doesn't even look close. I think Arachne's came out better on top.
Well, we'll see. Arachne still yet to be played. Odin, though, I was being informed before we kind of went on that there's some ways to deal with Odin. There's ways to mitigate the damage that he does with his leap using Geb, using that stone shield and the knock-up. So it seems like Cloud9's strategy here a little bit was draft Geb and Odin if we can. So we get rid of some of our internal pros are thinking are hard counters, basically, to this god. And, well, we'll see. We'll see exactly how it does go down. But for now, it looks like the Odin... He shows shades of being pretty viable. The build is kind of like almost an Amir-style build. Cooldown reduction, the Witchblade. I'm sorry, the Adventurer's Blade. Maybe a Witchblade in there as well. And a lot of initiation, just a lot of kind of pesky jumping in and doing the thing. But without bringing any hard CC to the table, it's like you would probably rather have the Nemesis, it feels like. For, no
Game Hunter got
jungle.
yet another one, but we're actually going to see an ultimate actually work out here for High Rock. Zipstar still taken out. He's still finally dead. Now NQ's going to get up into the mix here. Cubo Fred's going to be there as well, taking a lot of damage here, but it's all mitigated. He's doing an extra job. Look at the crits coming out of NQ, though. Cubo's going to be able to manage to buy himself a little bit of time. Trickstank all the way in the back. Lobster able to find one. Cubo's going to be there. The health regen from Fire Giant just OP.
Yeah, that's winning it for him here. One more major look from Game Hunter will be enough.
Yep.
There it is. Down goes NQ. 2 members do fall of Cloud9. TSM losing just the 1 in Zimstar. It's going to hurt their damage a bit, but they do still have Mercury Nemesis to do the physical damage to these towers.
They're not worried
and they're going to wait for the minions to stream in. Optic's going to do his best, but they should be easily cleaning up this Phoenix. It actually fell, I think, before the tooltip came up.
It fell before you finished the sentence. I know that much.
Yeah.
But, dude, I mean, Game Hunter's been playing so well. Emilito's going to go in here. He's going to take some damage, nothing crazy here, but they are going to force him back. They want to rotate back. They don't want to throw this game at all. In comes a pillar, and they do have to be careful. They don't want to get too froggy because TSM will leap.
Yeah, and there's an ultimate still available from the Mercury here, and as you see, oh, there it is, actually coming out in the backline now is Game Hunter. They're going to look to find Optics. It's going to be a little hard to pick him up. They're actually going to be forced to eat that ultimate. Game Hunter taking a big chunk of his health. Optics is trying to dash away. Trickstank's still here. Game Hunter moving forward. Lobster does secure that kill. Now there's only 2 members alive still for Cloud9. It's the Onher and the Odin. Odin finds the ring, leaping out as Trickstank. Phoenix to fall. Game Hunter getting pinned.
Wow!
Damage coming through from Onher, but there's an Aegis available. Ultimate now from Nemesis out onto Bay. Bay going to be the one they try to turn on. Can they pick him up? The pillar's there, but it blocks him as well. The slow, not expecting that, was Young Bay, and it sits up right in his face. Left lane is pushed all the way to the Phoenix already for TSM. Great map control from them. They'll be able to secure the final Phoenix here shortly.
Yep, and Zimstar's actually going to get a piece of the pie right here at the end. hi-rez going to do it. NQ's going to come in here. Colossal Fury. He's going to chase down Game Hunter right away. He doesn't want him doing too much damage. Game Hunter trying to dodge, but I mean, Colossal Fury doing so well, and then, oh my god, he's able to get out of this. NQ missing some autos, and then through the field. That's not good, as hi-rez going to go down as well. GG.
Yeah, just like that, TSM is, well, just showing their strength with that Fire Giant, actually dying in that last engagement was Zimstar. And the fight continued on until he was able to make it back. Emilito leaping in with that ultimate, but it's not going to be enough to stop the boys from TSM rolling over Cloud9 HyperX. And, well, maybe the week off hurt Cloud9 a little bit more. TSM get some games in.
And, you know, that's one of the big things we talked about before it came out, or before the week break actually started. We were like, you know, what happens in this off week is going to really determine what happens in this, you know, second half of the season. People get lazy, they don't play, but let's go ahead and take a look at the damage here.
Yeah, well, overall here, taking a look at the player damages, the first thing that's definitely going to be jumping out to you here is going to be the damage that came out from the Nemesis. Cubo Fred putting a 21k just behind the mid laners, Optics and Lobster. Yep. He was really, really involved in this fight. 10, 3, and 10. Cubo Fred really standing out for TSM here.
Yeah, and, you know, he got a lot of good ganks as well. I mean, like I said, you get that speed buff early on him from the Chaos side. Then he's able to rotate through so quick to that duo lane. And we saw him get an initial kill right off the rip, which really put TSM in the front. Because, you know, it made Zimstar feel a little bit more comfortable. They're playing from the lead now from the beginning. Always good.
Yeah, Zimstar with the chins and the Deathbringer put out a lot more damage than Young Bay there with that Witchblade. You know, his build taking a little bit longer to progress did on her there. And well, the chin size did so much to the Vamana and to, well, the Odin usually. The Geb took a little bit of as well. But Lobster, the captain of TSM here, had a pretty nice game as well. Don't count him out. 7-1 and 8. The shell pickup pretty crucial for his team. A very, very aggressive build with Bancrofts into the Soul Reaver here. And as you'll see, the amount of damage he's able to put out, even at this stage in the game. The shell comes out to save Game Hunter, who sprints away from NQ, and then they just put out, well, this next portal and splat. And
the portal was just
down
like
goes hi-rez. The double kill.
You always got to be happy when you hit one of those portals. It's like the best feeling.
Just
like,
watching, you know, it's
I let
a kill.
it perfectly.
Yeah, and well, downfalls NQ and downfalls Cloud9 at TSM. That's gonna do it for game number 1, guys. Here from the European Pro League. Coming up next, Coast versus SK. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with game number 2.